So I guess my video about losing traction actually gained traction on YouTube, and well, as I promised, even though it has been a year, I am doing a more intermediate tutorial, or the part 2 everyone requested in the comments. That, of course, they requested it because I promised it. Today I'm going to be running the 180SX. The setup's a little bit different from what I have on the S13 in the previous video, but well, it's a Sylvia, they're both S13s, but whatever, it's the same chassis. The 180 has a little bit more weight to it, but setup's essentially the same. Same horsepower, same everything. So now it's time to kick the cones, because we're about to learn a little more advanced stuff. If you haven't seen my last video and you really aren't comfortable with the very basics, I would suggest going and watching that, but without further ado, let's get started. So as per my last video, I showed you how to link a corner. Now I'm going to show you how to connect two opposite direction corners in a transition. What I'm going to be doing is going in second gear, getting on the throttle, braking the traction, and when I counter steer, I'm going to lift off the throttle as I counter steer. And what that's going to do is it's going to break the traction and get me the traction back again in a shock as I counter steer, so it can sort of smoothly change its direction. Okay, so here's a slow-mo of me doing a transition. I'll show you in action how it works. You see, as I am kind of throttle steering through this corner, I'm about to steer to transition. Right as I steer to transition, I let off and then get right back on, just like that. I'm gonna turn it again, let off, brake traction, get back on, brake traction, let off, boom, basic transition. This whole drifting thing, just like in real life, it's all feel, even in the game. You know, I can't really step-by-step instruct you how to do it, but once you get the feel for the transition, you're ready to start doing a high-speed entry. And I'm going to do just a quick little run here real quick, just to show you what kind of that looks like, and then I'll go back like I did earlier and do a sort of slow-mo analysis of how I did it. Basically what you want to do, you want to start over here near the skid pad. Make sure you have plenty of run up for this thing, because you want to go fast for this practice. You can try a little feint there, it's not required, but keep going. Once you get to that corner, just steer in, rip the e-brake, get off the throttle and back on that throttle. Use that throttle steering to try to stay on that line. So this time I'm not even going to use the e-brake, I'm just going to get this run up here, and I'm going to use the transition method that I showed earlier to be able to break the traction and send it to a smooth high-speed entry here. So I'm going sideways, I'm going to start the entry, feint, off throttle, and right back on and just mash it. Holding it up there, trying to stay on that back line back there. I'm a little off, a little inside, but it's okay. And let off, get back on, let off, get back on. Play with that throttle steering. Throttle steering is key. Keep steering it through, off, on. It takes time. Get familiar with when you should let go of the wheel and let it straighten out, and when you should create an incorrect, and we should tap the gas and how long. It's all feel. You might be asking, when should you use the e-brake? Well, you use the e-brake when you feel like you don't get enough angle. It's right here, I'm going to come in, I'm going to fly in, but I understeer. But I just tap that e-brake. Gets me nice and sideways, and I can throttle steer my way all the way through and clear that corner no problem. Now, like I said, I can't completely teach you how to drift, that's impossible. It's all feel, in games and in real life. But once you feel like you've got that feel, you start to develop your own style, and that's when the more advanced stuff comes in. It's much harder to learn from me once you move into the more advanced stuff, because, well, you'll have to learn your own sort of ways of doing things, and, well, most of your learning will start becoming through self-discovery and not videos on YouTube. But what I can teach you further from now is how to build a car for your style specifically. This is what I've thrown together in what I call my drift car. It's a Toyota Altezza. I think I teased it in my first video, but thing's got about 707 horsepower. I definitely don't recommend jumping straight to that much power. I'd only add about 100 and see that feels. You really want to go up gradually, but this car to me, it feels dialed in, and of course, as I evolve as a driver, I'm going to need a lot more stuff to throw onto it as well. settings have got to change as I change, and that's kind of how tuning is. So if you want to see a video on tuning, if this video does like semi-well, maybe about 1,000 views within maybe a month or two, kind of around that range, if I feel like this video is taken off enough, and maybe it'll be worth the time and energy, and maybe I'll drop a full in-depth tuning video on drifting. I do a lot of grip racing as well in this game and in real life, so if you want to see real life tailgate videos or possibly videos of grip racing techniques and tuning, I can also post those as well if this video does semi-well.